Hi, it's John from Water Depot. Today I'd like to talk to you about changing your Big Blue type and your Slimline sediment filters. Typically these are found in your basement on the point of entry on your main feed line coming into your house, either pre or post treatment. Typically you're going to find this type of filter is more common. It's called, well, it's a 4.5 by 10 inch filter. In the industry, the term Big Blue is used to identify this type of filter. And this housing will fit all these types of filters, all the Big Blue types. They come in 20 inch and 10 inch, Slimline and Big Blue, right? So the Slimline obviously is a thinner 2.5 inch filter it takes versus a 4.5 inch filter. As always, there's a number of different types of filters. You have your 5 micron sediment, this is your 75-25 dual gradient, your carbon block, and this is a string wound, depending on what you need and what your chemistry calls for, okay? So, very simple to change, but both sides. You'll see that there's a red pressure relief valve on both of them, on the top, which is used to depressurize these filter housings. So, like in our previous videos, the first thing that you want to do with any water source coming into a filter bowl is you want to shut off your main water. On the way into this filter bowl there should be a shut-off valve. You just close that. That allows the flow and the pressure to stop inside the unit. Keep in mind this unit is still pressurized. That's what this is for. What we also recommend is you go to downstream and find another ball valve and turn the water, shut that ball valve too. So you don't have water running back from your house through your filter bowl once it's open. Then you have it completely isolated between the inlet and the outlet. Okay? So once you've established both, closed on both of those, you use your pressure relief valve, you just push it down and you'll hear it. It'll go and water will come out and air will come out and it'll gradually dissipate and stop. That means this filter bowl is completely depressurized and it's okay now, you can open it. Okay? So there are a number of different filter wrenches out there, depending on the unit that you bought. These filter wrenches, if yours broke or you can't find yours, these filter wrenches are available online through waterdepot.com or at your local store. Okay? So going forward, so this is now depressurized. Everything is there's no pressure, but there is water inside. So like the last video, you'll always wear rubber gloves every time you do this. I always recommend, for me, I'll put one on and leave one off so that I have the ability to be a little bit more dexterous, but you don't want to touch the filter with your hands, okay? So this being in line on the wall, you take your filter wrench, you put it on and you turn it. Sometimes this is going to be difficult, and if you have not depressurized your system, you will never get it open. So you have to make sure you've completely depressurized it first, okay? So once you've loosened it, this will just unthread. You can see the filter inside, and at this point when it's just about to release, you have to make sure you have a bucket, because there's going to be water coming out of the filter bowl, and there'll be water pouring out from here, from whatever's left in the line. Say your shutoff was 10 feet that way, you'll have 10 feet worth of water going to come out. So you may want to make sure you have a bucket handy, okay? So you're going to have this filter bowl that's going to have water up to about here, and the filter inside. So as mentioned before, what I do is I take my gloved hand, I hold the filter, I pour the water into the bucket, and then I just let the filter go into the bucket, okay? Then I don't have to touch the filter, because this filter is a new filter, but after 3 months, 6 months, a year of contaminated water, we'll call it, iron-laden water, whatever's going through this, it's going to be fouled. It's going to be brown, it's going to be dirty, so you don't want to touch that if you can avoid it. So what I'll do, pour the water out, just let it go. It goes into the bucket, okay? So then you take your other filter, whatever filter you've decided. Standard filter in our industry is 5 micron. They are all available in all different sizes, but 5 microns typically the size. This is what they call a string wound, and this is a polypropylene, and then you'll have a carbon block, and there's various other filters. So this particular filter is a 75 by 25 dual gradient, so it does from 75 micron down to 25 micron. So literally you just take the plastic off, again, use rubber gloves. Don't touch the filter with your fingers. Make sure you take the filter card out. So we see them a lot inside the filter bowls because people forget. Anyway, hold on to your plastic with your rubber glove. Don't touch the filter even though you got rubber gloves on. Drop the filter in, pull the plastic out. Now you've got a completely clean filter. What I always recommend too is before you do that, take a look inside the filter. If it's really nasty inside the bowl, clean it out. Wipe it out with a paper towel. Take some water, rinse it out with the water, and just clean it up a little bit. It's only going to benefit you in the long run. So you take your new filter, pop that in. This is very critical. It's food grade silicone. It's critical for these particular, because of the pressures we're dealing with, to put a little bit of silicone on this O-ring all the way around. Doesn't have to be tons, all the way around. You see what I'm doing here? Just take it and make sure you got it everywhere, right? And make sure it's food grade and it's not well, that is food grade and it's not petroleum based. So now you have your filter bowl manifold hanging on the wall. There's a bracket like this one on the wall. It's hanging there. Take your filter bowl. It's now empty with a clean filter and the O-ring has been lubed. Take that. Again, it'll seat on its own. You'll feel it seat. Just turn it until you engage the threads. Once the threads are engaged, you can literally spin it, okay? Spin that down. Only spin it to hand tight, and then take your filter wrench and just give it a little shot. Just like that. That's all it takes. You'll feel that O-ring engage. If you go too hard on it, you will probably break your filter wrench, or you could damage the filter housing. Okay? So now that that's done, the filter's ready now to be refilled and recharged. So what you do is you push down your pressure relief valve and you slowly open your fill valve, your feed valve. You'll see, if it's clear like this, you'll see the water starting to fill and you'll hear the air burping out of the pressure relief valve. Hold that down until the filter bowl fills and you get water and no air. It's not the end of the world if you get air in your lines, but it'll stop you having air burping out of your faucets up in your kitchen sink. So once you've got that done and you just have water, no air, you've got your feed valve completely open, then now you can go and you can open your distribution valve. Now your filter's been changed, your unit is back and pressurized, and you've got full flow to your house. Whether you use a 10-inch Big Blue or a 20-inch Slimline, the procedure is exactly the same. It's just a difference in size and maybe micron rating of the filters. Otherwise, you should be good to go. Fairly simple process. And thank you for joining us today. And if you have any questions, you need any help, please visit us online at waterdepot.com or come visit your local Water Depot store.